Now this is one of the prettiest places. We're kind of in the, I guess, in the heart of Voyageur National Forest. We're on Kabetogama Lake in particular, and we've come up here a lot over the years. It's just been one of our favorite destinations. We're with Tim again, who we've fished with a lot over the years. And it's funny, we've been up here in the spring, we've been up here in the summer, we've been up here in the fall, and you know, obviously the fishing can be good at any time. But one of my favorite things is just to come up here in the fall. It's just so beautiful out here. It's very remote, it's very pristine. It's hard to believe this is in Minnesota. I mean, most lakes in Minnesota are surrounded by cabins, and you get out here and it's just wilderness and great fishing. But we're gonna do something kind of fun today. Obviously fall fishing is fun, right? One of the best times of the year, but we're gonna drag big chubs around, maybe use some jigging raps, classic fall patterns on classic fall structure, big smallmouths, big walleyes. The leaves are just starting to turn. It's like the first major cold snap of the year, but I tell you what, this is one of the best times of the year if you love to fish.
Yeah, a little frost on the pumpkin this morning, and now sun's gonna get up high for us, and I think it's gonna be a beautiful day.
Yeah, absolutely. Got him?
Yeah.
Good fish?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty decent fish, Jason.
Okay. Good stuff.
Just kind of a big old fat shiner on there. And
yeah, let me get that net here.
could be a good eater size, or maybe a little bit big. I don't know. We'll see.
Rod's bent over nice.
Yeah. Tell you, it's been a year of some really nice eaters too this year. Just really good 16, 17s.
Oh, yeah, there's a nice
a little bit.
Like him.
Yeah. This one's in it's a little bigger than an eater.
Boy, they are pretty.
Yeah, they are.
Pretty place, pretty fish.
Come here, old sea dog. Let's take a look at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at that. An old sea dog, man.
Pretty.
That's some fun stuff right there. Yeah, 21, 22 inch, nice walleye.
Yep.
Looking for a little shiner for the morning breakfast. You know, over the years of fishing Kabetogama and Voyageurs National Park, there is no bad time to come and fish it. But for some reason, that fall crisp air, I don't know, it just gets me fired up to come and fish Kabetogama. The smallmouth, the walleye, I mean, the crappie, it's a great bite all year long, but the fall just brings out the big ones. And for some reason, the lake's pretty much empty. You can kind of pick your spots and go wherever you want. And the fish are, you know, they're aggressive. They come after about any bait you throw at them. Big chubs, jigs, jigging raps, just about anything you want to throw at them, and they're all ready to go and aggressive to hit.
Oh, there's that one. Got one going here. Got him.
Got him. How's that one feel?
You know, that rod is bent over nice. Look at that.
You still got the live bait rig going on there?
I do, yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're going to need a net on that one.
Don't you love that? Well, stand down nice.
I'll get the net. Oh yeah, you're already here.
Yeah, just a respectable walleye.
Yeah.
I just love that bluish sheen they've got on them here.
I know it. There's a blue tint to these fish. But just beautiful.
Here, I'll get her out of the net here. Show her off. That water's warmer than the air, you know it?
Isn't that the truth?
That water temps are in the low 60s right now, and they're gonna get a lot colder. But yeah, just a gorgeous walleye. Just see how dark these fish are. Just gorgeous. There we go. I'll get her in the water here. Oh, there she goes. And this is just classic deep structure fishing, in the sense that, you know, offshore deep structure, you know, anywhere from maybe 15 out to 25 feet of water. And I know we're kind of got a three-pronged attack, or we were anticipating a three-pronged attack. I started with chubs. You caught one fish on a chub. You switched up to a jig. You know, jigging minnow, jigging ramp, chubbing. You know, all that stuff works in the fall. And I guess, you know, a couple of people in the boat, you try different things and try to figure out if the fish want one thing or the other. But
they're not too picky today. I think they're liking the jig, and they're also liking the live bait rig.
Well, just about when I switch over to a jig, then we catch another one on a rig. And so pick your poison right now.
There's a nice one here, Jason.
All right. Need the net?
Yeah, I suppose I will net this one.
You went to a jig, huh? Just kind of switching
I
it up
did.
a
You know,
little
I
bit.
had the live bait rig going, and I seen you had a live bait rig, so I reeled up and said, let me throw a jig out on this fish. I don't think it hit the bottom. I really don't.
Might be onto something, or we might have to mix it up a little bit here.
Yeah. Little of this, little of that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the program. You know, big minnows on rigs, your jigging wraps, your glide baits, and then your classic jig and minnow. That's kind of fall fishing in a nutshell on structure.
Yeah. Another nice.
Oh yeah.
Another nice fish. Oh,
Great
geez.
walleye. Boy.
I think it hit it on the fall. I mean, I really do. I think it.
Yeah.
I never hit the bottom. I don't think.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
I love it when their teeth get caught in the net.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Another 21 or 22 incher.
Yep. Beautiful.
All right, let's let her go. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you, girl.
You know, so when you look at classic fall fishing patterns where you've got small spots, really precise structure, you know, there's a couple of presentations that really come to mind because it really is a vertical fishing affair in the sense that you could long line and troll, but the thing is these spots are so small that you'd spend too much time off the mark. You want to be fishing below the boat when the spots are small. And so when you look at vertical presentations, you've got your classic jig and a minnow, which is a staple for full walleyes. That's always something that's got to be, you know, in your tool chest. And then you've got rigging big minnows, sucker minnows, chubs. That's also a classic fall presentation. Then your glide baits, you know, your jigging ramps, your puppet minnows, your Tikka Minos. Those three presentations, kind of a three-pronged attack, but that works really good in the fall on these locations. And what's interesting is that there's some days where every one of those presentations will catch fish. It doesn't matter. The fish are just biting. But what's amazing to me is that there's so many times, so many different situations where one particular presentation just shines. It might be just a jig and a minnow. Or the next spot, the next day, it might be a deal where you put a 5 to 6, 7-inch sucker or chub down there and the fish just eat it. And they're ignoring everything else. And what also amazes me, there's times where it's just like turning a switch where you start snapping a jigging wrap or a puppet minnow or a glide bait, and it's like the third stroke, bam, you have a fish on. But these spots are small, you've got fish below you, you're going to typically figure out what that presentation is really quick. I mean, when you drop it down, it's almost like, sometimes it's almost like you catch a fish almost instantly when you're doing the right presentation. And so make sure that you experiment those different presentations, because a lot of days those fish are just preferring one particular thing. Why? I wish I had the answers. But it's all about the process of elimination. Experiment with a few different things that you know works until you figure out what those fish want. You know, this is kind of old school fishing, how I grew up. You know, the live bait rig, finger on the line, sometimes the bail open. And we are moving slow or spot locking.
And you know, Jason, when I'm pitching this jig, a lot of people, you know, we always teach people to fish kind of vertical, try to stay down as much as you can. But when you do spot lock, you know, and you're not dragging anywhere, I like to fan cast these jigs. I like to pitch them out 20 yards from the boat, let them sit straight down. Don't click your bail over, because then that jig starts to swing back to the boat. But yeah, I kind of like to let that jig sit straight down on the bottom and then slowly jig it back. And every time, of course, you jig it, it's getting just a little closer to the boat. And when you get vertical next to the boat again, then I kind of reel up and redo it. And that way I can cover more ground. You know, I'm covering over to the left and then in the front, and
well, it's very precise too, you know.
Yeah. You'll find out all of a sudden you're starting to catch some fish off the front of the boat or off the back of the boat, and you're saying, hey, there's where my school is, and you can concentrate in that area just a little bit more. Oh, good fish here.
Good fish?
Yeah. Another good fish here. Another good one.
That's a big fish.
It's a good fish, yeah.
That's a big fish. Whoa. Coming with the net here.
Okay. Another jig fish. This one, I cast it out in front of the boat and was bringing it back and got vertical, just bouncing a few times. So I think it followed me all the way here. And
well, I think they do. I think they follow it below the boat.
Look at this fish.
Nice walleye. Nice. There you go. Nice work.
Nice.
Oh.
Some good girth on these fish. I'm gonna take my gloves off again. Don't want to get them wet. Oh man, this one's got some shoulders on it. You know, I went with the largest shiner that I had in the bait well. A nice big shiner right there, blue jig. She couldn't stand it.
Nice work. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Let her go back home. Let her drop in there.
Yeah, so you look at a contour map of this lake, you know, the first thing you're going to see is just the amount of structure. The spots to fish are endless on this lake. And, you know, in the fall and even through the summer, you know, a lot of this fishing is offshore. A lot of it's structure fishing. A lot of it's about boat control. Some of these spots are small, you know. Some of these humps or reefs will come up and maybe it's the size of maybe a 2-car garage at the most, you know. And what's interesting is, you know, where you find the big boulders and some of the tops of these reefs, you know, that's where you're going to find your smallmouths living. And then the walleyes will be kind of on the edges, deeper around the sides. You know, so to really get on these fish, a lot of times what we like to do is just drive around slowly, trust your electronics. If you start marking fish, you know, just hit spot lock. And so a lot of times when we're driving around these spots, we'll have the bow mount down and we'll just idle around with the big motor and just try to mark fish, spot lock, drop something over the side, fish for a little bit, catch fish. You'll just keep creeping along that spot and making incremental moves. And sometimes you have to be real methodical in how you fish these spots, but I tell you what, it is so productive. There he is. Good fish here. Switched up to the jig.
You couldn't stand me catching him with that jig, could you?
See what we got here. Fish is staying down nice. Oh, here she comes. Oh yeah, nice walleye.
Nice walleye here.
Oh,
coming with the net.
Oh yeah, look at there.
Nice. In the corner of the mouth. Look how fat that one is, huh?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of neat. I mean, we were just 20 yards over this way and we kind of wore out our welcome. We were still marking fish. We were firing rigs down on them. We were, you know, jigs, Jigging Raps, Tikka Minos, and finally just got to the point where we were marking fish. We just couldn't get them to bite. We slid over 20, 30 yards, spot locked again, get on some new fish. First drop, nice walleye. So yeah, we're just kind of throwing the kitchen sink at them. That's that deep V jig. Just a great deep water jig. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. And they just got that bluish green tint. As I say, it looks like an Ontario walleye, but we're only about 5 miles from Ontario, so they just get that dark, beautiful color. All right, we'll get her in the water. Just a chunk of a fish. There she goes.
Nice work.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. And you know, we're marking fish. I mean, you can see on the active target, I mean, we definitely have fish coming through. And the thing is too, is I think it's something worth saying is, you know, even when you're using electronics, you're using active target, is sometimes you can't chase these fish around. Sometimes you just have to spot lock where there's fish and you'll just see them coming and going in waves. And And it's almost like you've got a population of fish below you, like that last little move we made. I mean, let's see here, we caught a fish on a glide bait, we caught a few fish rigging, you caught a few fish jigging, I switched up to a jig, caught a few fish doing a handful of different things, and then sooner or later the fish that are left don't want nothing to do with nothing.
Nope.
And it's time to go.
We got to go to a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
30 yards over, here's a new pot of nice school of fish.
Yeah, we didn't have to go very far.
No, that's the nice thing about it is there's always fish around that structure. Find the structure, find the fish.
You know, so you come up on Kabetogama and obviously there's awesome walleye fishing. You know, you're catching walleyes in this beautiful place. But, you know, one of the things I've always struggled with up here is I also love smallmouth bass. I mean, smallmouth bass are one of my favorite fish. And that's probably the biggest, hardest decision when you come out on those waters. What do you fish for? And sometimes, you know, you just catch them. You know, you can be walleye fishing, catch a big smallmouth, or you can fish for smallmouths and catch a big walleye. And so that's pretty common in this part of the world. But, you know, that's the big question every day when you head out is, you know, walleyes or smallmouths, you know. And so to come out here, you know, on this particular trip and spend time doing both is just something I'd encourage anybody to do, because a lot of times when we come up here in the past, you know, we'll film a half-hour episode, you know, it'll be just a smallmouth episode, or it'll be just a walleye episode. And this time up, you know, I didn't want to make that difficult decision, and so we spent, you know, the whole day, you know, targeting both. And the beauty of this is this time of the year, you know, both species of fish are so close together. You know, sometimes they're on the same spots, or, you know, you'll find a series of humps, and some of the deeper humps might have walleyes, and some of the shallower humps with more rock might have smallmouths, you know. But you don't have to go very far to pick your poison. You know, you can do it all. And so that's something I encourage you to do, is take advantage of all the different fishing opportunities. You know, you've got the walleyes and the smallmouths. You've also got great crappies in this lake. There's big pike. I mean, you can do a lot of different things. And so don't just get locked in on one species of fish, on one spot, one pattern, one presentation, because there's way more to this lake than just that.
That's a fish.
That's a good fish.
That's a good fish.
All right. Oh, I'm caught on you here somehow. Okay. All right, coming with the net there.
Smallmouth, I think.
That's the way I fish is pulling.
Yeah, that's a puller. Down it goes. Look at the rod bend.
Whoa, that's a really nice smallmouth. That's a big smallmouth.
It's a pig, ain't it? That's what we call a swimming pig.
Whoa.
Oh, come here, girl.
Come here, light line.
I can only lead her. I can't control her.
All right. Nice fish, Tim.
Yeah, all the attitude you could ever want in a fish right there. I mean to tell you. That's a football player, it's a linebacker. They don't know that they're,
that's
what's
gotta
this,
be
18
19 inch
Yeah,
smallmouth. Look at the colors too, just a beautiful fish.
Got the tiger markings on it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Sweet girl right there. A lot of fun. There you go, girl.
Nice work.
Down under the boat. For some reason, these fish are filling up on the biggest baits you can find. A lot of anglers are afraid to go after big bait with fish because they finesse fished all year long with small plastics or small minnows and leeches and crawlers. But in the fall of the year, there's an aggression on these fish that's just unmatched. They just attack the big baits. So I'd encourage you to try to find 5, 6, 7, and even 8-inch baits for these big smallmouth and these walleyes.
I got one going here.
Feel one?
Oh, yeah. Got him. Whoa. Can't even really budge him.
Look at
Whoa. It's a good fish, whatever it is.
nice fish. Net coming your way.
Wow. This is a big fish, Tim.
Is it?
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Look at that.
Swimming sow, huh?
That is a big fish.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh. That's the biggest one of the day.
That's the biggest one of the day, you're right. Look at that sow.
Look at that. Oh my. Look at that.
Might be 20-inch fish.
Wow. That is impressive. Look at that.
Oh my
Look at that.
Lord.
Oh my. Look at that fish. Wow, that's one of the biggest smallmouths I've caught all year.
Nice work, Jason.
Get that hook out here. All right, I'll get her in the water. Thank you for the fight. That is impressive. Whoa. Whoa. Tell you what, there's certain places where a fish like that might be a little bit more common. I tell you what, Minnesota, that is one big smallmouth.
Yeah, you know, and as this temperature continues to drop in this water, we're going to see more every day.
Wow.
But that is a big fish anywhere.
That is cool. That made my day, made my fall.
Nice work.
Oh, that was a beauty.